Well, hello everyone for the Friday wrap up. I've just had like the school morning from hell. For those of you who are parents, those mornings where there's one moment where you realise that just everybody in the house is screaming like a banshee. That was us this morning. We managed to get in a bunch of really gruff sorries before we parted ways. It's rough, right? And then we've got to rock up for work. I've got a team meeting in a couple of minutes, I think. But that's working life as a parent more often than not. Big week. I got the privilege to go and run an inclusive leadership workshop in person with 30 odd regional TAFE leaders. One particular regional TAFE asked me in, who I've done a lot of work with. And you know, when you picture regional TAFE leaders, we all have stereotypes and biases around what that group might be like and where the conversations might land around inclusive leadership. But I was absolutely pleasantly surprised. The conversations were deep, meaningful. But what really struck me, and this happens quite often, is that the majority of times the leaders in the room know the things that need to change. They know many of the barriers that do exist, even though there's still, that privilege blanket over many eyes, and so a lot of the barriers aren't seen. There are absolutely some that are. And there's usually one or two leaders in the room who have noticed the barrier, but have just felt powerless to change it, or perhaps haven't felt that the personal responsibility or that it's their place to fight for that change, to create that change, or maybe it's just felt too hard. So I think that was really valuable that we had that session and those barriers came up and everybody heard and talked about them, and everybody agreed that it was ridiculous and that it needed to change, and that these things were clear barriers to people from either participating in TAFE or progressing their career in TAFE. And so I'm really hopeful that now some of those things are going to be really pushed forward and some change created. One of the other things that happened to me this week, on Monday, I had to have an ultrasound of my uterus. And what I'm finding is that for many people who have uteruses, who are about the age, is it uterus, uteri, I don't know, who are about my age, are having trouble with their uterus. So I'm clearly not alone in that boat. But as a trans mass person walking into those women's specialist medical places, as always, comes with a lot of trepidation and some real concern and anxiety around how you're going to be treated. Expecting to be misgendered, that's an expectation, but you're never quite sure what kind of things are going to come out. And as I'm laying on the table and there's a picture of my uterus up on the screen, in waltzes a doctor who looks at the screen and says, "Oh, well, that's a healthy uterus, isn't it?" Eek. I know it's unintentional in terms of she's walking in there hoping to create some kind of sense of calm in a person who may be concerned that there's something wrong or something bad going on. But God, as trans and gender diverse people, this kind of stuff is tricky. I don't want to really think about my uterus at all, let alone the fact that it's healthy. Turns out, as she looked a little closer, it's not that healthy, but that's okay. It looks like there's an easy fix. But it really, language in healthcare settings is so important. Having that consciousness that not everybody experiences these things in the same way or has the same emotions attached to different parts of their body, to processes that are occurring in their body, what's going on. And I imagine it would be an incredibly tricky position for health providers, particularly in spaces like that where they predominantly treat one gender. The reality is lots of people would be going into that centre who are not cis, and do probably require that the doctors and the staff more generally have a greater understanding of what are some of the things that could really cause trauma or trigger trans and gender diverse people in those spaces. So probably a bit of an overshare there, but I think it's important we talk about these things, right? So that maybe there's one health professional listening in today who goes, yeah, okay, maybe I do need to reflect on my language and not make assumptions about people's gender and people's feelings around their body parts. So today is a day of a lot of catch-ups. I'm actually really excited. I'm getting to have some catch-ups with some people that I haven't for a while. Some people reaching out who are wanting to start businesses, or perhaps have career change, or just need my support to progress some of their diversity, equity and inclusion work. I managed to sign on another big project this week as well, with another university, and I'm really excited for this. It does mean my project books are full at the moment. So if you are if you are sitting there thinking I was going to get Bree to come and do this, you might want to book us in so that you can get some time in the calendar for the rest of the year, because it's starting to look pretty tight. But that's a positive thing, right? So it means lots of people are looking to meaningfully change their workplaces and organisations, and really looking forward to helping them do that. That sounded really icky and salesy. I didn't mean it that way. I actually get generally excited about this stuff. Anyway, if I didn't, then I shouldn't be doing the work, right? Good luck with your weekends. I've got just one game of cricket I have to participate or watch this weekend. Going hiking tomorrow to get some nature and to clear my brain. It's been a big week. Thank you to all of you who engaged with my post around free speaking engagements. That was, not only does it make me cringe when I send those responses around free speaking engagements, I also cringed big time when I made that post. I didn't know if it was the right thing to do, but all of your comments and reactions show that it is the right thing to do, that we do openly speak about this, that we need to value the work of diversity, equity and inclusion as we would any other profession or type of work. So thank you. I hope you got something out of the post, and it seems that hopefully there's a lot of conversations at least happening. Enjoy your weekends, and I will catch you all next week.